Hi everyone, this is Cole with Bent Vids, and I just wanted to go over a few of my Spyderco knives. So first off, if you don't know, Spyderco is a Colorado-based company, and they make a wide variety of cool knives. But I'm gonna start with, I have three. This was the first one I purchased. This is the Paramilitary 2. And this was the second one I bought. This is the Native. And this is the last one I purchased about, I don't know, 6-7 months ago. And this is the Dragonfly. So to start off with, I purchased this one first because it just looks like a badass knife, and ultimately I needed a good, strong knife for dressing out elk when we're hunting. And right after I bought this knife, I believe 2 years ago, my wife and I literally shot 2 cow elks right next to each other, and I field dressed both of them really quickly because it was about dusk whenever we shot these elk. So we quartered them up and dressed them out, and never even had to hone or sharpen this knife at all. It was amazing for a quick little fold-up knife. But so I believe these are G10 pads. They have full liners, and it's just, well, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you know, I mean, these knives are just one of the best things about them. You can really choke up on them. You can get in there and do a lot, and you can, do some skinning, and they're just a solid knife. And the thing I really like about this one the most, that I didn't realize it till I got the other ones, are I love this this takedown. You can literally push and take it down with one hand. So easy. The only thing I guess I don't like about this knife is it's a little excessive for an everyday carry. I carry it in my my back right pocket, and I put it in the pocket like this. So then when I pull it out, and then get to it easy. And that's just a lot of, you can even see the knife ends right here. So all of this is essentially just dead space that doesn't really need to be there. And that in your pocket, that's just a lot to carry around every day. I'm not a huge guy, but hunting, this is my primary knife on me at all times when I'm hunting any kind of game, because it's just ideal for that. You can literally switch around this from this way, this way, this way, or this way. So you can hold it any which way you desire. Some people complain that if you had a one that goes here and goes up, then you could get zero, because this thing, it's gonna stick out of your pocket this far. And for hunting, that's not a big deal for me. It's actually nice to have that little bit to grab and pull up on it. But it is nice that, because as you can see, I like my knives set up this way, which you'll see later about that. But oh, and this one is S30V, and it is made in Golden, Colorado. And I really do like the S30V. It's a pretty pretty solid steel. Now the reason I bought the Native was I wanted something a little lighter. I really do like this this kind of spider webbing where they're smooth this way, but it's almost grating your skin going this way. So you got a ton of traction and purchase on here. This one is S35 VN. This is a really good steel. I believe this knife was the most expensive of all of them because it had that steel. And same thing, this one, you can choke up on it nicely. You can see when I'm choked up, I don't even need that last little bit on here. And it's a solid knife. It's really nice. And it's really nice and light. You can also switch this one any direction. My biggest complaint is you can't fold it up with one hand. You can open it with one hand, and I guess if you're, I can do it with one hand, but it's not friendly like that one. More times than not, I'll just break it like that. But it's nice. I mean, in comparison, it's substantially smaller. If you put the blades even, it's really not that much bigger. But look how much smaller it is. So it does have its advantage. I've always just taken this because I've had it, but I imagine this would break down and quarter out an elk just as well. So arguably this can do everything this one can do, but I wish it had the same breakdown method. That's the one thing that I'm not a fan of this one over this one. Now, this one, I kind of bought it just as a knife to throw in my pack and just have, but after getting it, it's impressed me. Mainly because, well, to start off with, this is a VG10. And this one, I believe, is made in Japan. But it looks super small. When you look at it next to this one, when you line up blade to blade, it's really not that much smaller. I mean, I know if you go to that one, it's a pretty big jump, but the thing that about this one is if you're choked up on it, I mean, it fits my hand perfectly. I really don't need any more handle on it. I mean, obviously the blade is a lot smaller, but this thing does everything I need to do, and it fits in my full hand. I mean, all these knives like this. I mean, this one, I could fit this thing in my hand like this. But I really never use it like this. I always use that. And it's just nice. It's nice how this is kind of incorporated in that right there, and it just fits your finger perfectly. I mean, this one does the same thing too. That's one thing I like about Spyderco. They all have these nice, or it's like that's where your hand should go. And this one's no different. The handle, if you were going to grab it down here, it's too small, but you don't. You grab it up here and this, so you're using a part of the blade. It works out great. Now this is obviously a lower quality steel than either of these two, and they all have their own purposes. And again, this one has the same issue as the native, where you have to push it here to collapse it. And my biggest issue with this knife is that I can't flip this to be the way I like it. So just to get into it again, my pocket on my jeans, you know, right here is the seam. So this goes on the inside of my pocket, and this is my pocket. So this blade is right against the seam in my pant, or my pocket. When I pull it out, it's the way I like it and the way I'm used to. This one, I can't do that. I have to put it in like this. So, I mean, it's not a huge deal, it's just an annoyance that I can't put it in my pocket the way that I put the other ones in. But of late, I've been carrying this one more than any of the other ones, just because in everyday situations, this is all the knife that I really need. So, and Spyderco makes a ton of other knives. There are so many other ones, but these are just the 3 that I have that seem to do all the things that I needed to do. And part of me is tempted to just keep buying them because I just want to collect them, but I think if I wanted to change anything, I would get this and a better steel, which I'm sure if you keep up on them, they do all these sprint runs and different steels for some of their knives, and I do like this one. They have one that's a little bit bigger than this that a lot of people like. I forget the name of it now. I actually purchased it for my father for Christmas one year. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's bigger than this and a little bit smaller than this. It's kind of this knife, or this design, but in this size. And but the one thing I like is some of the knives don't have this. I think that's one of them that didn't have that. I can't remember, but if I had to buy one, I guess if I could only have one, I would probably pick the native, because it's big enough to do all the things that this knife can do, and it's small enough that it could substitute that one, and it has the best steel of the 3. So this one, I guess, would be the one if I could only have one, but I like them all. I used to be a Kershaw guy, and I still have Kershaw knives and I like them, but these are just superior blades and superior knives. The big holes in them, I won't lie, when I first got into them, I thought that was just a really ugly part of them, but I don't know, something changed. Now I think knives without that look weird. I think that's just such a, I mean, it's so nice to be able to grab them. It's got just enough kind of corner that they catch you a little bit, but they're not too aggressive. So they're just good to put your finger in for things, or already just kind of for, you know, skinning or doing certain things. But I'm quite the fan of these knives, and I'm a fan that you can get them in very high steel materials, and you know, so these are all pretty good, and they make these, and they make these little ones in a yellow handled one that it's made out of a kind of a stainless steel that is for marine use and water use. I almost got that one, but I live in a very dry climate, and I really don't need a sea knife for those kinds of things. But yeah. So let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite Spyderco is, and why. All right, this is Cole. I'll see you in the next video.